easy go.
Right guys, this is going to be a 300k Nightfall solo. For those that just want to see the run, then skip to time on the screen. For the rest of you, I'll show you my card setup, weapons and subclass. First, the card setup. We are using a max handicap of 110, arc singe, extinguish, momentum and match game. That equates to a 7 times multiplier. This is not the highest multiplier by any means, but it is the multiplier that I found to work well, because it's a mix between being able to do it quick enough and get enough points. It's not just all about points, because if you get to the boss too late, if you get to 15 minutes and you're not at the boss, your scores it's going to be just a game of maintaining the score that you have, because between 15 and 18 minutes score depreciates, and if you're not killing ads quick enough, overall it's going to go down, not up. So it's finding a balance between getting enough score but doing it quick enough. That's why I enjoy these runs. Okay, so subclass, we are using Striker Titan, Top Tree, Double Pulse Grenade, Rally Barricade and Strafe Lift. We're pairing that with Insurmountable Skull Fort, so we get unlimited shoulder charges, providing that we get a shoulder charge kill. For weapons, we're using 3 shotguns. Okay, I know it sounds silly, but you really don't need kinetics in this game. You really don't need. I mean, not only that, it's mainly because of the build as well. We can do so much ad clear with no weapons. We don't even need weapons, so having high aggressive weapons to pair with this suits it well. So we have Parcel of Stardust, Zenith of Your Kind, which is Void, and Legend of Acreus. Legend of Acreus will be used mainly for the Minotaurs. They are sometimes a one-shot if you get a full-on crit, but generally they're a 2-shot. And Zenith of Your Kind is for Void Shields. I'm not set up for solar, so if I see any solar ads, I ain't even touching them, which can be a rotation. I didn't get that rotation, but having said that, in the Infinite Forest you could get a solar shield in there, but I would just skip it. As for armor, none of it matters, it's just this light level here. That's the weapons and everything. Show me the run. So we'll say straight away is that there's kind of a lot of RNG with the Infinite Forest, simply because of the amount of rotation of ads that you can get. You know, sometimes you can get a bunch of Hydras, which is 7k each. Sometimes you can get an Ogre. Sometimes you get Wizards. You know, it varies in the amount of ads that you get as well, and stuff like that. So there's RNG with the Forest, but the main thing with the Forest was to try and get as much score as I can from it while doing it in a fashionable time, like not taking 4 minutes for a Forest. That would be too long for the rest of the run. After the Infinite Forest there isn't as much RNG, it's just 2 possibilities. It's either Vex fighting Cabal or Vex on their own, which we're set up for just having Vex on their own, since we have no solar damage output. So I took out that first Cyclops, like they're worth 7k also. We're guaranteed another 2 of those. This plate turned out to be a good one since Void Shields. If it had been Cabal and there was solar shields, then that wouldn't have been the best of plates for me, since I would have had to skip those enemies. I don't kill every single enemy here, but I kill a lot of them. Forest. The next plate we get Hive, which turned out to be a worse of a plate than I realised, since they all do arc. I realise they do arc. It's not a bad plate since there's a lot of mages on here, or orange bars. Nope. Now we're approaching a super, so we'll be able to use that for the next plate. Which it's best to just get it over with and use it, since there's not going to be another time that we need it for quite a bit. On the next plate we get Vex, which is good and bad. It's bad in a way for my super, since Void Shields and match game is on, so my super won't do a lot to them. But like I said, it could have been worse. Could have got Cabal and Solar Shields, which then I have no way of taking them down. Finish off the Minotaurs. So that's all the plates done. Now we're approaching the last two Cyclopses. I usually like to save a pulse nade for each. This one pulse will take them down, and then shoulder charge the rest of the goblins. And that's around about a 70k for us, which is pretty good for 3 minutes 15. It's not too bad. I think that's what spoils a lot of the Mercury Nightfalls and Strikes, is this forest. I think if this forest wasn't in, at the same time, if there was no forest, they would be extremely short. So they would have to beef them up or something. Or they could change the forest up and make it that you have to kill daemons. They're called daemons. They're in the Heroic Adventures. What they're required is that you have to kill a certain major to surpass. So with this section, we're basically just clearing up with shoulder charge, and then when it comes down to the two shielded Minotaurs, take them down with Zenith of your kind. It's important that I juggle my ammo with my shotguns, so can't just go ahead and spam one shotgun. You need to juggle them all, since the modifier juggler is in the game. I don't know if Bungie's admitted to it, but it is in the game, and what it means is that it's an old D1 modifier. It definitely is in the game, because Sprint Lock was in D1 and they didn't admit to that either. It is in the game. It just means that the weapon that you have equipped you are less likely to get ammo for, and it's on all the time. It's on all the time. Raids, whatever. Okay, so we've got another Minotaur spawned up with a bunch of Hydras. We can take out the Hydra with Acreus, which will one-shot him. No matter what rotation we get, whether it be Cabal versus Vex or this, we'll always get a Hydra up. It's pretty good. Okay, so we have a super up. Now I don't end up using it on this section, since it's more valuable to keep it and save it for the next section.
That Minotaur is coated in temporal shielding.
We take down the box first. We're going to deal with the Minotaur first. First thing you want to kill. Acreus will two-shot him. Sometimes it'll one-shot if I get the shot perfect on him. Then we're going to take down the box. This is key so that all the ads group up, since there's a lot of fanatics there. And the thing with fanatics is, if you let them explode, say you jump over them and you do not touch them at all, they will explode on all the goblins and you will get no points for that. It's key to take them out with a nade or even anything, as long as we're tagging them. So that's that section dealt with. Now we're going to have 3 snipers and 2 harpies. Take out all of this first before we deal with the portal, since the harpies aren't really dangerous but the snipers are. We can do a pulse nade there and then make sure everything's reloaded. We also save another pulse nade just for the fanatics here, since I don't have any ranged weapons on to easily take them out. And once we've done that, this is where the super comes into play. But before that, we have a shielded Minotaur to deal with. Take down his shield first, and then we can super the rest of the goblins. Sometimes you'll get, I think sometimes you get 2 extra Minotaurs, but I only got 1. And I think that's random. In this case I only got 1. important I have everything reloaded for this next section. We've got another Minotaur to deal with, but a lot of shielded Minotaurs, void. So it's important that at this point I had quite a bit of ammo for Zenith. So take down the box straight away, and then we're going to take down the snipers first. It becomes a lot more easier when you do that. And once we've done that, we can work on the Minotaurs. Take down their shields first. And then we can deal with the main Minotaur. Like I say, there can be one shot. And that's not even heavyweight on. That's the thing with accuracy, it's still super strong without heavyweight. Whereas with Thunderlord, yeah, it's strong on red bars, but on mages, a little slow. A little slow without heavyweight. So this whole setup is not for boss DPS, since we're going for score. So a lot of people will set up for boss 1 phase. But really, on a score run, why would you want to set up for that, since you want to drag the fight out as long as possible? So this setup is based around ad control, that's it. Since it so happens to be that the boss, which I'll get into, is very weak to pulse nades. So much so that they can work out better than some weapons. Okay, so with this, since we have 2 pulse nades, 2 waste, we use it on that, clear them out real quick. Got another Minotaur to handle here. Now my shotgun ammo at this point, I wasn't happy with my ammo. To be honest with you, the Pass of Stardust and the Zenith was more important than the Acreus at this point, since we're going to have a lot of shield to deal with. That's why I'm using Accuracy, to hope I get some green ammo, which I did. Okay, so I decided on the run to change my approach with this, and that was just to basically shoulder charge all the snipers. Since I usually run Thunderlord and that takes them, but I've done it other ways. Once most of the snipers are down, I'm going to then go and take the box, and then we'll use a super for the main Minotaur. That's dealt with, then we can super any remaining goblins and stuff. Plus I kind of kept the harpies up tactically so that I could recharge my nade off them as well. Now we have some Minotaurs. What I really want is for them to rush, to be honest, like that. Key is to kind of separate them, not to kind of handle them all at once. That's dealt with, finish off the 2 remaining Minotaurs. Yeah, so once we're done here, we'll take down the box, and then coming up to this next phase, it's kind of a lot of fanatics. It's kind of dangerous with the loadout that I have, so I'm relying on 2 pulse nades, so since I do have pulse, 2 pulses for that. Take out a shield Minotaur, and then there's a Hydra, also another Hydra there. Now there is a wanted target there. I decided not to take him since I wanted to go for a time save rather than more points. Since I was on a real good time at 2:52 at 11, just over 11 minutes, which is pretty good, so I thought I'd leave him. Plus the amount of ammo that you dump into those wanted targets isn't worth the reward sometimes. Okay, so now with the boss fight, kind of need 2 pulse nades back up for this. So with this boss fight, our weapons are just to deal with the ad control only, so we have no boss DPS, but it's our pulse nade that does the damage. Usually it's the other way around, right? Abilities for ads and your power weapon for the boss, but in this case it's different. So I'm just waiting for my double pulse. It's actually better to wait for my double pulse rather than just start the fight straight away, since I want to get as much damage in as I can. Since if I do one pulse nade, he'll start to move. I want him to sit in the pulse nades. Do that, start for my momentum, and then I just want to start shoulder charging all the goblins. Another key thing with this boss as well is knowing where he rotates to and where all the cover is. Now we have another double pulse while he's sitting in it, so that's a good time for damage. This kind of reminds me of like the old Savathun song where you would shoulder charge all the Prestige Savathun song, the old one, you would shoulder charge all the Thrall to then get pulse nades for the boss. This is kind of how I approached it. Okay, so now we're just clearing out the rest of the ads. And we'll take down the box. Again, we use Acreus for Minotaurs. It's worth a lot of points also. It's also important that I have double pulse as well, which I'm bound to have the amount of times I've shoulder charged. Now before I take down that second Minotaur, I want to get my worth damage in there, since he won't move until this Minotaur's killed basically, so that's why I didn't take down the Minotaur straight away. I was also contemplating in my mind whether I would get the score 282, which wasn't enough because you get 7k from the boss and 5k around about for the Minotaur. That's 13, so I'm not at the 300k for him. So this is where I decided, plus we've got more time to kind of continue with the fight, since there's a lot more ad spawns. Usually the ads will spawn at the portals where the boss is, so he's top side, it will be the top 2 portals. That's usually how it works. So again here what I'm trying to do, get my pulse nade as soon as I can. Shoulder charges. Also I was trying to kill as many ads as I could in the remainder 30 seconds before 15 minutes come up, since when that happens I'll get half points, and I was close to the 300k. Okay, so we've got another Minotaur to take out, same again. Once that happens I want to pulse nade the boss. Ideally I should have double pulsed, waited a bit, then took out the Minotaur, but it didn't really matter. My only goal here was to not get the perfect run, but just to get 300k plus. At this point I'm kind of happy with my score, but I'm just kind of trying to build up my pulse nade energy. The boss will now switch up his attack also as well, you've seen. He'll do that purple void blast attack, which I think can one-shot me if it hits me. So with the boss I'm kind of waiting for his next phase where he stands still, or where he sits still, like that for example, and then I can double pulse straight away. Yeah, with the pulse grenades on this boss, they critical hit him, and they always have done. It's like the old vanilla pulse nades on this. There's another time where he's just staying still. Of course momentum is definitely needed for this. Without momentum, doing it in the fashion that I did, you probably couldn't do it. You'd have to switch it up and be a Void Walker, Devourer or something like that without momentum. But that was a 300k plus. I was super happy that I got it, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
And we cracked it in half.
Oh, Dendron, right. You're so good at cleaning up Osiris's messes. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Now get out of there before the simulation shuts down.